Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and we're at my kitchen table again. Today, we're going to talk about the book club announcement, specifically Catholic book club announcement for October 2026. That would be The Joyful Beggar by Lewis DeWolf. Now, if you're Catholic, you know that Pope Leo announced 2026 as the year of St. Francis. The 800th anniversary of his death is the 3rd of October. And the special celebration for St. Francis lasts from the 10th of January 2026 until the 10th of January 2027. And I thought it was highly appropriate that to celebrate this as a Catholic reading community, we picked one of, I've never read anything, but I've heard repeatedly, one of the great Catholic historical fiction authors, Lewis DeWolf, and his story about St. Francis. It is entitled The Joyful Beggar. Now, I have never seen it out in the wild. I have no library that has a copy of it. However, it is available in Kindle. And when I bought my copy, it was $2, $1.99. So it's more than accessible. And you will be pleased to know that it is roughly 350 pages. So it isn't a big old chunky Tammy book. So first, let's talk about the feast of St. Francis. As you know, his regular feast day in the church is October 4th. That is not changing. Everything we normally experience as Catholics to celebrate St. Francis will occur as normal this year. I am sure there will be extra stuff going on as a result of the year being dedicated to St. Francis, but animal blessings, all of that, I would expect no change at your local parish for any of that. There are a couple of key features that the special year incorporates for Catholics. So earlier in the year, his remains were on display at the Basilica in Rome. Doesn't happen very often. I'm almost 100% positive that as I'm filming this, that closed long ago. Throughout the world, and local parishes, there are special celebrations for St. Francis happening all the time. This year, pilgrimages, masses to bless animals, retreats, all the things you would expect. And then the big one is the plenary indulgence, and has the usual conditions attached: sacramental confession, Eucharistic communion, a prayer for the Pope's intentions, and detachment from sin. And it can be obtained by making a pilgrimage to any Franciscan covenantal church or place of worship dedicated to or connected with St. Francis anywhere in the world. As long as you spend time in prayer and meditation there, or through other acts of charity and piety in his spirit, you will gain the plenary indulgence. If you don't know if your local parish is Franciscan, for example, mine is not, if you go on any search engine, you will, ask for the local Franciscan church near you. It will bring up all the closest ones available to you. All of mine are an hour plus away, but that's okay. We were planning to go to one of them anyway, so we will just make sure we do it before the 10th of January. And that is all that the church has specifically planned. But it is a very good reminder to follow in the footsteps of St. Francis, to, do for others with, whatever it costs you. Take care of animals, all the things we all know. So, okay, now for the book. And I will read you the description here. Let me see if I can find the description. Of course, I closed the... there is a movie, by the way, but the movie looks odd to me. Something about it would just... I think we watched a little bit of it, and it was done in the 70s, and it reflected that. Let's just put it that way. Okay. In this magnificent and stirring novel, Louis de Wool turns his famed narrative skill to the story of the soldier and merchant son who might have been the right-hand man to a king, and who became instead the most beloved of all saints. Set against the tempestuous background of the 13th century Italy and Egypt, here is the magnificent and inspiring story of Francis Bernardon, the brash, pleasure-loving young officer who was to become immortalized as St. Francis of Assisi. The story teems with action, pageantry, and intrigue, with finely conceived characters: the beautiful and saintly Claire, his sister; Frederick, the hawk-faced king of Sicily; and Holy Roman Emperor, the Sultan King Al-Kamil, Pope Innocent III. The scenes shift from Assisi, Rome, and Sicily to the deadly sands of Egypt. I was wrong. It's 374 pages. And it was first published in 1958. I am so looking forward to this novel. It's going to be my first book by the author. St. Francis is one of those saints I have loved since I was a child. No surprise if you walk into my house, there's, animals everywhere. And I hope you will join me. You don't have to be Catholic, obviously, but be warned, this is a Catholic novel about a Catholic saint, and it will be Catholic in content. If that bothers you, you have been warned going in. If that doesn't bother you, please join us. I will leave a link to the book club. It is on Fable. And we can... I'll set it up to start in October and run until the next book club book is chosen. I probably won't open up the book club for this specific book until October 1st, just so that anybody still reading 1776 and wants to participate or read my commentary, that will remain up through, let's say, the end of September. So there you go. I hope you will join me, and I hope, if you're Catholic, you have a chance to visit a Franciscan church. Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.